video. I am doing this on a different device. The other night I went live on YouTube and I had finished my live and I could not save it. So I had to delete the video. So what I'm going to do now is just tell everybody about my podcast that's going to happen on Sunday night at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. I am not going to have a guest this week. It's just going to be me solo. And what I am going to do is I am going to talk about podcasting and all the questions people have asked of me, how I started, where I plan on going, what I use, how do I find my guest, what means of social media sources do I use. So I am going to answer all those questions. So if you guys have questions, drop them in a comment on this video or email me at onefunguypodcast@gmail.com. You can find me over on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. I am all over social media, One Fun Guy Podcast. So there are ways to get a hold of me. If you have questions that you want answered on my live, feel free to shoot me a message and I will get them over and I will go and answer those on my live. It's probably not going to be an hour podcast this week. It's probably going to be about 30 minutes, but who knows? Knowing how I talk, I could probably make it 2 hours long. But either way, right now, what I'm trying to do, guys, is grow my online community with YouTube, and I don't know how to do that. So I know they say find the algorithm, find the what works, what doesn't, but I think what I'm going to do is focus more of my time on YouTube Live than anywhere else and post everything that I do to YouTube. So I already do that anyways, but I think this is going to be the better platform. Unfortunately, I don't know how to see comments or who's on. There has to be a way to do that, right? Like I can see the number of people that are watching me, but I don't know how to get the comments on here. If anybody knows how to do that, shoot me a message because I'm trying to figure this out. I am brand new to YouTube going live. I was able to get enough followers to do it, so I'm super stoked about it. But I used my iPad the other week, and I was not able to get a good download when I was done. I had to abandon the video because I could not transfer it over. So I don't know how to do that on YouTube. So I'm learning. It's a learning curve. So bear with me, guys. If you can send me a message after this video, because I see people are watching, but I cannot see comments. So I don't know how to interact with you guys. But if there's anything that you guys want to know about me or my podcast or anything else like that, leave me a message on this video when it's done. I will do my best to post it to YouTube. I'm hoping it just does normally. It was acting very funny with my iPad. I did it the other day. I was live for about 35 minutes and I had great content and I was able to, basically talk about everything that I wanted to do. And when I was done, I could not upload the video, so I lost it. I had to abandon the video and get rid of it. So in that term of the way that things are going, I want to get more familiar with YouTube Lives. I've only done a few Instagram Lives and I've done a ton of TikTok Lives, but I really want to use YouTube as my home base. So if you guys can send me messages, I can't see anything on my screen. I'm using my phone. It's an iPhone. I see people watching. There's 3 people watching and I have 1 like. I cannot see comments or on. So I don't know how to navigate this. So if anybody can send me a message or an email, it's onefunguypodcast@gmail.com. I will check my messages. Now, obviously, I'm on my phone, so I can't see anything outside of this right now. Hopefully down the road I can. There has to be a way to adjust this. Unfortunately, guys, I'm brand new at this. I'm still learning the ropes, as they say. So hopefully as it gets better and over time, YouTube becomes second nature to me and I will get better at this. So I apologize for the inconvenience. If anybody is trying to contact me through this, I cannot see them. So unfortunately, guys, that is the way. But I do have some stuff I want to talk about. I was just over on TikTok and I want to post a video over to YouTube, but I did a lot of note taking. So I transferred a bunch of notes on, and I watched a video the other day on YouTube about Erwin McManus. If you guys don't know who he is, he's a motivational speaker. He's an awesome guy. And I made a ton of notes about his podcast that I watched. And the guy was just so incredible, like full of knowledge and amazing. So I wrote a bunch of notes down and I kind of just chicken scratched them. I just grabbed a piece of paper that I had with me and I wrote everything down. So now I actually made notes that I could read and understand and kind of make sense of everything. But I was just enthralled by that. So I just thought I'd share a little bit of that with you. If you guys don't know who Erwin McManus is, just Google him or search him on YouTube. The guy is just a wealth of knowledge. So that's what I was doing over on TikTok. And I was like, this is kind of stupid. I was like, if I post this video, it was me for 25 minutes basically taking notes. And I didn't want to post that. It's not really good content. Normally, I'm uplifting and I'm motivating and I'm talking and I'm doing all the stuff that I'm doing now. For the last 25 minutes, I've literally had my head buried in a notebook and I was just taking notes. So I'm not going to post that video over here. That'll live in the TikTok universe forever. But as of right now, I'm just kind of mainly focused on my podcast for Sunday, getting everything organized, getting everything ready. I do work all weekend, so it's going to be a long one for me. I don't have a day off until next week, so the stretch is going to be long. It'll be coming home, getting ready for work the next day, showering, and going to bed. So it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about that. But I still want to make the most productive podcast I can and make it, entertaining, make it educational, and make it empowering. So I will do that, but I will not have a guest. It's just going to be me. And I'm going to see how that works out for me. If it works out well and I am not really successful at it, or it kind of bombs or does whatever, then I'll know not to do it again and I'll just continue having a weekly guest on the show. But if it does work out and it is, motivating and it does help somebody out and it does answer questions, then maybe I'll just do 1 week me, 1 week with a guest, 1 week me, 1 week with a guest, 1 week me, until I get boring enough where people are like, okay, just go with the guest. So I do try to find the best guests that I can, though, right? I want to get the people that have the most knowledge, the people that have something positive to say, the people that can put something positive into the world. So I do vet my podcast guests fairly, complex. The stuff we talk about is conversational, but I'd like to know a little bit of background on them, right? Where they come from, what they do, where we met, how we got started, the conversations we have. And then I like to put that forward into a podcast, and I'll call them and I'll talk to them and say, hey, listen, this is, I think, what we need to do. This is, I think, what needs to happen. This is what I think, should happen. And then we kind of just go from there. So tomorrow I am going to spend the majority of my afternoon reaching out to people that want to be guests on my podcast, and we'll set up future dates for them and I'll talk to them, have conversations with them and see what they want to talk about. So hopefully I can bring something positive to my podcast, which is what I always try to do. Just be uplifting, be kind, be nice, be cordial, but give some value to you guys watching me, which I obviously you're my audience, and I want to make it as special for you as I do for me. I just get excited talking to people and my guests and learning about them, and I know that comes off sometimes as people have told me in the past that, like, you need to focus more on your guest and not so much on you. But it's just, I'm new to this, right? So I like talking to people and I get excited about it. So sometimes I kind of overstep, but I'm learning, right? So hopefully, like I said, when I'm at my 100th podcast and my 1,000 podcast and my 10,000 podcast, I could look back on these first 10 and say, wow, that was really raw, but I did it, right? I started, and I can move on from here. I can grow and I can learn and embrace the process. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So I think Sunday it will be just me, and we'll see how it goes. If it doesn't go so well, then I'll just continue doing weekly guests. Like I said, I have no shortage of guests. I have shortage of time, right? So my time, their time, it's hard to figure out schedules when you're trying to do this. They're like, oh, I can't do this week. I can do it next week. Well, if I don't have a guest for this week, then it's kind of like, what do I do for the following week? So with that being the case, and everything that's being put out there, and everything that's being involved with my show, I'm a one man guy, right? I'm a one man crew. I do all my editing, I do all my interviewing, I do all my photoing. I do everything on my own, which is awesome because down the road, like I said, when I make enough money and I monetize it and I can have a team, I will. That'll happen down the road. I'm pretty confident that I'll have enough following and support to be able to do that. But I want to grow my community, and I won't forget the OGs, right? The people that were here from the very beginning, all the people in this universe that have helped me out. I'll never forget you guys. And I said that on my last live TikTok, right? When I hit my 100 subscriber on YouTube, like everybody that was involved with that, I thanked everybody because they're my core, right? You guys are my core. So again, the podcasting is something that I've always wanted to do. I'm super passionate about it. I'm still learning, so bear with me. I will make mistakes. I will fix them. I try not to make the same mistake twice. So if I do something wrong, I try to avoid doing it again. I am a human being, so I will make mistakes. I will mess up. There will be things that happen that are out of my control. But for the most part, I try to have, a pretty entertaining show and do what I can. And that's my main focus, is making it the best podcast that I can possibly make it for you guys. And that's my goal. And it will always be my goal. I will never stop learning. I will never stop educating myself. I will never be content with what I'm putting out. I will always try to do better, try to make the best show possible. And one day, like I said, when I have a film crew and a production crew and everybody behind me, and I can do my thing, then it'll be awesome. But until then, it's me hitting the grind, and that's what I love. I'm embracing the process. So with that being said, guys, I really appreciate all the love and support and all the following, all the subscribers that have, subscribed to my channel. I am the One Fun Guy podcast across all the platforms, guys. So you can find me over on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and obviously here on YouTube. I am One Fun Guy podcast across all the platforms. So I really appreciate everything you guys have done for me, all the, critiquing and all the educating and everything that you guys have said. Hey, do this instead of that, or try this instead of that. I take notes, guys. I take mental notes and I take physical notes. I write everything down to my intro, right? So instead of just going on and saying, hey, I'm here, or hey, I'm live, I start all my videos with One Fun Guy podcast in the studio, or One Fun Guy podcast wherever I'm at. Those were things that people told me that I should do, that like make it known who you are and what you're doing. So that's what I do. So I am the One Fun Guy podcast, and I want everybody to know it. So that's how I start all my shows now. And that was just a little piece of advice that was given to me, back when I started to make the announcement. So I do, guys, and I have everything that I've ever done written down, guys. It's not anything. All my notes, I can go back and say, this is where I was at this day. I always write the dates of everything that I'm doing. So everything that I have has a date to it. So I can go back and say, oh, that was from March 15th. That was from April 20th. That's from August 9th. That's from, September 3rd. So everything that I do has dates on it. I date everything. And it's just something that I do as an interviewer, is take notes, whether it's for my guest, whether it's for my podcast, whether it's somebody else's podcast I'm watching that was like a really good thing. And like I said, I came across Erwin McManus. I've never known anything about the guy before. I just happened to watch a video and he was on it, and he has this system of frequencies that he has, come up with, and they are incredible. So I will suggest, that everybody go and watch an Erwin McManus video on his 7 frequencies of communication. They are awesome. And that's for all walks of life, not just for podcasting or people that do interviews for a living. That's for day-to-day stuff. He's got a great list of things that need to be done and things that you should do. And I took it to heart. It really resonated with me. I'm like, oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do this. I can do that. And so I just wrote them all down, and now I'm reading them, and I'm like, wow, this really makes a lot of sense based on where you want conversations to go and what you're trying to do. Again, based on who you're interviewing. I've said it before, is that if I have somebody on, it's a conversation style podcast. So I interview them before we go live on the podcast. So I have a little bit about their background and their knowledge, skills, and abilities, and what they've done in their life. And if they want to talk about that, that's what I embrace. So for me, when I have guys on, like my buddy Matt, we talked about baseball. He spent a ton of time with the Mets. So that was pretty much, a great thing for me to have him on the show talking about professional sports. Or when I had my buddy Paul on, we talked about, mental health issues that first responders face. If I have a guest on that talks about different walks of life, like where Roberta was on. Roberta and me talked about podcasting and the importance of social media and the growth of communities. That's an incredible thing that she's done. She has a professional podcast that's syndicated. I would love to be there someday. So she taught me a bunch of stuff on how to do that, and so our whole podcast was talking about podcasting, and it was great. So again, it's based on my guest and where the conversation goes from there. I just try to make it natural and flowy. And again, I want to entertain, I want to educate, I want to empower. And I hope to do that every single show. But this Sunday is going to be kind of special because it's just going to be me, and I don't know what's going to happen, right? So I have no problem going live like this, talking about what I'm doing for the week or what I'm doing. But to do a full hour dedicated to just me is going to be unique. And again, if it flops and it bombs and I don't, have, anything to say, or anything that is productive or anything, then I'll know from here on out that that's a bad idea and that I should scrap that. But if it is productive and I do answer all the questions that everybody's asked of me and things that people want to know about me and podcasting, and like I said, how I got started and how I find my guest and what I do, and I'll talk about that. And if anybody, like I said, has any other questions they want to know about me or my podcast, send me an email. It's onefunguypodcast@gmail.com. I check all my emails. You can send me a message here on any one of my videos. I read all my messages. Or you can find me on TikTok or Facebook, One Fun Guy Podcast, and shoot me a message there. Instagram the same way. I'm one_fun_guy_podcast on Instagram. It's the only way that I could do it, but I'm still One Fun Guy. If you type it up, you'll see the underscores in there, but it's me. So follow me on Instagram, shoot me a message, send me a friend request over on Facebook, subscribe to my channel here on YouTube, and follow me on TikTok. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm across the board, One Fun Guy Podcast. So again, I just wanted to make this of value. I wanted to do what I can to basically make it the most entertaining show I can, make it the best podcast I can make it. There's others out there, right, that have better production, that have bigger guests than have that. That's great. But that's what I inspire to get to. And it will happen one day. I know that will happen. But for right now, all the guests that I have all been fantastic, and they're all special to me. They're all meaningful to me. So that's what's important. So I hope that they, being as meaningful to me, are also as meaningful and entertaining to you guys, my audience. And that's what I want. I want to make it grow. So I just hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. Now I'm focused on 500. Then I'm going to focus on 1,000, then 5,000, then 10,000, then 50,000, then 100,000, and the sky's the limit. So as I keep growing, I want to embrace the journey. I want to look back and say, wow, look at where I started and look at where I'm at and look at what's ahead. And again, I never want to stop learning. I never want to stop educating myself on podcasting. I want to be the best podcaster I can be and grow into that one day of being the famous podcaster. That's what I'm inspiring to. And YouTube gives me the opportunities to do that. So that is why I want to try to focus more of my time over here than on any other platform. And adapting to the rules of YouTube and everything like that. Like, I try to make it family friendly. I always say, no, they're not for kids, just in case we talk about a sensitive subject. But, I try not to use foul language. I try not to talk about subject matter that's inappropriate. That's just kind of stuff, I want to do. So, I know consistency is key, and I've been pretty consistent, but I do work a full-time job, guys. So, there are days when I don't get on social media at all because I'm working, and then I come home and I'm tired. I go to bed, and then I get on the next day, and when I get home from work, I try to make a post or do something just to be relevant. So I understand that, but it's difficult when you do work a full-time job. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that's a reality. But I will focus all my time and effort on making the best podcast that I can, and that's what I set to do. And YouTube is the best place for me to do that. There's no secret about that. And like I said, I am committed to doing this. Like, I am, I'm excited about this. It motivates me. It makes me feel good. Everything that I want in this world, I get through podcasting. And as silly as that sounds, like, I'm passionate about it. So I love the process. I love getting to talk to people, getting to know people, getting to interview people. The podcast that I do one day a week is the easy work, right? That's fun. It's everything else that goes along with it that could be, kind of heart-wrenching and time-consuming and all that other kind of stuff, but I embrace it, and I look forward to doing it. So yeah, it's work, but it's fun work. So with that, all together in the culmination of this video, I will be live Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time with myself. So I will be my podcast, and I am going to talk to you guys about my podcast journey so far, and everything that's, been manifested in this journey so far, which is a lot. So I do have a lot to cover, and I do have a lot to say, and I want to give you a little bit of insight on me and what I'm doing and how I started this, and where I plan on going. And so there is an end game for me. There is a bigger goal in mind, and I'll get there one day, but I'm just happy enough to be able to do this now. So with that being said, I am the One Fun Guy Podcast. You can find me on all the platforms. here on YouTube is going to be my new home. So this is where I want to be. I'm trying to grow the community, guys. So if you could share my videos, subscribe to what I'm doing, tell your friends about me, and I'm going to try to put the word out. And like I said, make it as powerful as I can. But the reality is I need to grow, and I have to start, and the growth comes from you guys. You guys can help me. And that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to make it the best show I can, and put in the effort to grow my community. So I'll see you guys Sunday night, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. It'll just be me. Somebody else might pop in. You never know who's around. It's Sunday night, so we'll see. But for the most part, it's just going to be me going live with what I'm doing. So I'm the One Fun Guy Podcast. I will see you guys all on Sunday night. Thanks for watching. Remember, please subscribe and share. It means the world to me. I'll see you guys soon.